yeah, we're standing up on a deck in Sunroom Edition that we're working on. Right now they're framing down on the sunroom. We're about to be at the final floor level. So once they get done doing whatever they need to do down there, we'll go ahead and start laying subfloor down, and then we'll place or mark where all the windows are going to go so they can build the exterior walls. So we got Jose down there. Yeah, there we go. They're moving along, so we probably got to have all this framed out, walled out, and dried in. We probably got about another 3 to 4 days. So this time next week, we should be realistically putting windows on, or putting windows in, putting doors in, and truly drying that space in. Following that, we'll have electrical rough in, get that inspected, do insulation, then sheetrock, so on and so forth. So we're moving along. They're going to get the walls and everything up, and then we'll get the sheathing on. And once we do the sheathing, we'll get flashing on, calling an inspection. And then after that, we will put all the decking material down. We're doing all pressure treated here. So that will be an interesting endeavor. There's a lot of decking. It's like 900 square foot of deck. Like any project, new construction's a whole different ballgame. What we have going on here is we're adding on to a house, and we're adding on to a house that was built in the 70s. So one thing comes to mind is that when we're building something like this is we have plans drawn up by an engineer, everything's spec'd out. But like any construction, there's little variables that change or things that come up. On this house, there was some unexpected rot in the rim bands of the original house, so we replaced them. And then there's also some other rot from the siding type that they used to use on this house, or they used on this house. So as soon as we get the flooring on this level done, or subfloor done, we're going to open up that side of the house and see what else is kind of going on, and we'll repair it then. Because right now, that overhang of the house is being supported by the new joists or the new floor system. So we'll see what comes of it. Realistically, the two is like part of this project was already here. So we're adding on to it. Like this whole section is all brand new, but that deck portion right there, it actually stopped about 3 feet further back. So kind of in line with some of the windows. And it went out that way to just past where that door is. So we're adding a lot of space here. The project overall too is like they wanted an area that was covered down here that had wide open views. Because typical construction, you would make that a wall and kind of close in that lower section. But they wanted the views right on a hole for the golf course that our client loves playing. So long board that's really wide is sitting right there. That's an 18-inch tripled up LVL. So it's spanning, right now it's spanning about 18 feet. And you can span them further, but that's a 1,500 pound piece of wood that's holding up the rest of the sunroom. Those two guys put that up piece at a time. And it's like that thick, that full length. Until you get that subfloor or you get wall sheet, these things, they move a little bit. So the bracing is just meant to keep it in place while you're getting it to a point where you can do your cross bracing or get structural sheathing on. But they'll be getting there here pretty shortly. We started right before Christmas. We had a bunch of bad weather and whatnot. And it was too cold at one point, so we couldn't pour concrete. So the foundation or all the footers got poured the Saturday before Christmas. And then it was about a week and a half before we could start building on them or doing the masonry wall and CMU wall. So it's been about 3 weeks now, but a lot of that time was held up because of the weather. Typically, I don't pour anything below like 28, or if it's supposed to get below that, I don't pour anything that day. For example, like this project's moving along here, but we have 3 or 4 other concrete related jobs or veneer jobs that can't be done right now. So it slows us down just a little bit.
And then what does permitting look like with something like this compared to like a outdoor structure that's not connected to a house?
It's about the same, to be honest with you. You submit zoning and planning documents saying, hey, this is what we want to build. They then send it on to either the building department or a secondary review. They look at your plans, and then if everything's good, they send you a permit. And then throughout the process, it's on us to schedule different inspections that need to be done in the right order. This one, you'll have inspections all the way from the footers up. You do a rough framing inspection. Then we'll do rough mechanical, rough HVAC, or mechanical HVAC. Then we'll do an insulation. Then we'll do an exterior, because we have what's called a portal frame. So it's a special framing technique that we use to get certain walls to be built a certain way. Once everything's painted, once everything's done, we'll do finals of all of this. It's part of the process. Sometimes they take a day. Sometimes they take 2 to 3 days. We don't really know. It depends on how busy the city is. Like some jurisdictions, like if we're doing work in TGK, they tend to take a little bit longer, but they're smaller, so they don't have as many people available. But Charlotte, at one time we were told 2 to 3 days, and most of the time we would get it the next day or the following day. But it depends on what you're doing too. For a simple deck, like just building something like that, it's quick. For more complicated stuff like this, they spend more time.